Hello, my name is Andrew Jones. I'm VP of Engineering for Elac Americas, and I'm here at Audio Advisor to talk about my new active speaker, the Navis. It looks somewhat familiar in terms of being a three-way speaker with the concentric driver, one of my favorites and specialties that I like to work with. But this time it's active. It's not, though, simply an active version of the Unify. It's completely upgraded drivers, new cone shapes, new surround materials, new tweeter. So fully upgraded, but with the addition of it being powered. And by powered, I mean it's a three-way active, also incorporating wireless capability. But it's not, in the sense, a fully digital DSP, everything built-in type active speaker. When we think of active speakers traditionally in the hi-fi market, they've not been particularly successful, except in a few cases, because you lose apparent choice. We as audiophiles love to play around and mix and match the equipment to have some degree of control over the system performance that we choose to have. And of course, going active means you've removed one part of that choice, the power amplifier. But as an engineer, we always look at things and go, why do we really want to do it passive? There's so much more we can do with an active system in terms of the power amplifiers are seeing directly the drive unit, not going through the crossover. They're being used over limited bandwidth, so they can be optimized both spectrally and temporarily, time-wise, to match the characteristics of the music to the bass driver. And then you also do EQ to kind of cheat physics to get more extended bass performance than you might otherwise expect. But we do recognize that loss of choice, but the benefits for engineers far outweigh that. But we've seen a lot of speakers coming on the market now that do everything all in one. Built-in power amplifiers, built-in DSP and digital crossovers, built-in wireless and network capability. And it's aimed at a new kind of listener. Ones that aren't traditional audiophiles want good sound, but want something simple to use, all in one, not lots of trailing wires and lots of boxes of equipment. And there's some very good examples of that out there. And we thought about doing that. We thought, well, maybe we can do a halfway house, where maybe we can satisfy two markets at the same time. Traditional audiophile and new listener want simplicity but connectivity. So we split the functionality apart. We've made the speaker fully analog, traditional, active, low-level crossovers. We've also built in a wireless receiver module. So on the back panel of the speaker, you can select either balanced input, unbalanced input, or wireless. When you switch to wireless mode, it powers up the wireless receiver. So if you're in analog mode, it's powered off, there's no interference from the wireless. Once you're in wireless mode, we have a transmitter box that you can buy that is a streamer. It's a Roon endpoint, it's Spotify Connect, it's Bluetooth, it's Apple AirPlay. So pretty much any way you want to have your music, you can connect through to that box and then transmit wirelessly to the speaker. And we have 3 channels of wireless connection there. We have left, right, and subwoofer. So you can easily add in a wireless subwoofer. And there's a switch on the back where you can set it to a 60, 80 hertz cutoff or wideband, depending on whether you are or are not using a subwoofer. So you've got the 2 modes. You can go directly wired analog into the balanced or unbalanced input, or you can use it wirelessly with that added connectivity. Using DSP Crossover is very useful in a development environment because you can just dial in any characteristic of filter that you want and immediately listen to it. You can also not suffer component tolerance issues when you go into production. But I often think that the complexity that it can give, if you have to use it, perhaps you should have designed the drivers better in the first place. Now that sounds a bit boastful, I don't mean to be like that, but it does distinguish between DSP is capable of a lot, more than maybe you can do with an analog, but you don't always need it. So we chose to do analog, and so from an upgrade point of view, you can change your preamp, you can change your DAC, you can change your turntable. In terms of using a turntable, you're not digitizing your analog source when you're going through the loudspeaker like you would if it was a DSP-based crossover. So in terms of the overall thing, it's three-way and it's a concentric driver as I'm used to doing. All of the amplification is contained in this bass section here, and then the EQ circuitry on the back panel. Now that bass section, it contains 3 amplifiers, a Class AB amplifier for the tweeter of 40 watts capability, a bash amplifier for the mid-range at 100 watts, and a bash amplifier for the bass at 160 watts. And bash amplification is a way of getting more efficient operation out of a Class AB amplifier topology. So they're not Class D amplifiers, they're based on Class AB. So we get the sound character of Class AB, the efficiency much better than a traditional Class AB, not quite as good as Class D, but sufficient to package over 300 watts into this compact bass section of the speaker. And the ability to equalize the bass gives us an unexpected bass extension from this size of enclosure because we're able to specifically match it to the characteristics. So it's a versatile active speaker, and when we think about, for an audiophile, that loss of choice perhaps, that I've taken away your ability to play around with your power amplifier, and as I said, from an engineer I think that's a good compromise because of what I can achieve when it's built in. But it's also, when you think about a traditional speaker, and you think, I've chosen the tweeter, I've chosen the bass unit, I've chosen the crossover components, and I've given you a package that you listen to, and I ask you, do you like that? And you go, oh yes, I do, that sounds wonderful, I think I want to buy that. Do you go home and think, yeah, but if only Andrew had used this ScanSpeak tweeter, or whatever, this particular woofer, would it have sounded differently? Yes. Would it have sounded like I wanted to give you? No. So this is just saying, take that one step further. I've built in an extra part of your system, but the rest of the system you have the freedom to do what you want with, knowing that, do I know how to design all the electronics myself as a speaker designer? I kind of know something about electronics, but I have help from some really good people like Peter Madnick of Audio Alchemy that joined us at Elac. So I can find people who can design really good electronics to give me the character that I want, and you're still free to do everything else. So there you have it, a very versatile active speaker, and I hope you get a chance to hear it. Thank you.